The following is the post-game segment from our live watch-along of Juve versus Milan in the Supercoppa Italiana. Please remember to like, subscribe, and check the description for all our socials, X, Instagram, and Discord. Thank you, and enjoy. And Dash is here. You want to yell at me too?
No, I'm not yelling at you. Good Lord, this team sucks.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That was the worst second half I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like that was just secondhand embarrassment for them. Like that's how bad that was.
Yeah, I mean the only good thing about this is I don't have to rush home from work on Monday and try to figure out how to make a stream.
I just
2 minutes, like
how do you let a Sergio Conceição team make 4 chances in an entire half that you're winning, by the way? Like you're winning the game.
I'm out of words. I don't know what else to say.
Like that to me is just
straight. Like, do you have any other insight that I haven't already thrown up
no
all over the stream?
No, there is no insight. Like, there's a certain somebody that should have buried that chance, but I'm not gonna, hey, it's, the sky is blue and someone keeps bottling up tap-ins. What else am I supposed to do at this point? Oh, God damn it. That I have no words. Like, I literally don't know what to say.
I'm done. Personally, with words.
I'm sorry.
I need to walk my dogs and like have a couple drinks and just sleep on this because I have no answers.
This team sucks. Like, I'm sorry. Like this is probably hands down, despite the whole like we're undefeated and yada yada yada. This is one of the worst products I've seen in a very long time.
And the thing is, and the comparisons are going to be made, and I know people hate the comparisons. Chiellini works for the team, so he's going to tell us to stop making the comparisons because he's going to try to protect the product. But, I mean, other than that, you have to make the comparison in that Allegri did it with a worse roster, and it was worse to watch, but we still somehow managed to close out the games and win more often than not.
It's not even about style of play because, like, for example, with Max, like we knew we were in to like gouge our eyes out for 90 minutes.
Yeah,
but,
you knew.
Like you knew what you were getting into. With this, it's just kind of like, okay, great. It's literally Conceição had 3 training sessions with this team, 3 of them.
Yeah, not even in his own stadium.
No,
and he has the flu.
No, and it's just like I'm sitting here and I'm like, what the hell? Like I don't even I don't know what to say. It's just like I really like we don't know what Juve you get. Whatever game we play, we don't know what product we're getting. And that to me is just like it's blasphemy because when you look at the team you have on paper and you look at the talent that you have, it's like, okay, you should be getting this kind of style, but like you're not. And maybe it is like, for example, and again, the players aren't out of question too. I think there's just literally a huge gap at leadership for this team. And I mean, from player personnel wise, because like you think about it, who's your veteran guy? Gatti hasn't really done anything.
Locatelli is probably your veteran, if anybody. But yeah, Gatti technically. Yeah.
Like I mean, again, you look at look at who had the armbands today. Locatelli, Gatti. What have they done in their career? Besides
they both gave up
with the Euro.
Today. I mean, they both did well at points of this game as well. But
I can't throw that on Gatti. That's 100% on Di Gregorio. Like 100% on Di Gregorio.
But see, no, and this is what I commented. Was it though? Because he's supposed to be
way too far up. He was way too high.
But that's his instructions as well, right? Like Mata wants him to play higher up the line. So I'm convinced that he's sitting that far up as well because of the tactics. Because we want to play this out the back modern football. But that's
The
what
pro-
happens when your goalie plays off the line. It's stupid shit like that goes in.
the problem is like I'm watching the replay of it again, and I'm like, okay, great, he's playing that high off. What is he gonna do? Like body check Tammy Abraham or something like that? Like, I mean, at the angle that Musa was gonna play that cross, like it's he didn't need to be because he was well past the 6 with
Yeah.
that one. So, and it's like again, and it's not Gotti's fault for putting his leg out. He's
No.
supposed to. That's what a defender's supposed to do. Like I can't sit there and be like Gotti's a bum for making uh, that play. But I don't know, man. Like it's just holy smokes. Like the leadership on this team is just again, it's non-existent on the player perspective, and honestly, it doesn't help that your coach isn't really the most inspiring guy out there.
Do you remember? I'm going to bring it back a couple years because Rick Ozzie. I've seen this name before. I haven't seen him in a while, so welcome in, Rick. But do you remember when we were doing stuff on BZ and there was that Aussie that gave $200 for me to take my shirt off? It wasn't this Aussie, was it? Do you remember which Aussie that was? It's like 2-3 years ago now.
Nope.
And Aussie paid me 200. Well, paid Ale from Bianconeri Zone $200 for me to take my shirt off. I never signed any money.
Oh, that's who that was. Okay.
It was an Aussie guy. I remember that. JC might remember. JC was there.
Carr. Yeah, Carr would probably. I think we all were, but yeah, I think Carr would remember it.
Boy, yeah, nah, this leadership issue, and then you send Danilo to Brazil.
Well, this is and then it's just like also there's a comment that I saw on there too, where someone's just like, "Hey, man, yeah, where was all this veteran thing when Allegri was the coach? Because everybody was bitching about the young players with Allegri. That's why."
Veterans were needed in Allegri area to succeed. Loan in, cheap signings, whatever didn't happen. Now the veterans is not a topic realistically. Well, we don't have. We just haven't put any veterans into our team. We perhaps need like just a 32-year-old guy looking for his last contract at a bigger team, just to come off the bench and yell at dudes while he's on the bench.
Yeah, we've got one of the youngest rosters in the league.
Conte. Yeah, we need Conte to kick this team in the ass. Honestly, it's looking more and more that would have been the ideal bridge solution. You get Conte in for a year or two until you can secure something better. Because, you said it, Conte will get you to the dance.
Yeah, he'll get you to the dance. The issue is like, because I remember how I said it yesterday when we were filming. I said there's two pathways you could go. You could either go the Palladino route or you go the Conte route, and like that's the only two pathways they're gonna go. And to be honest with you, the more and more I keep watching this, and more I keep seeing this product, it's either going to be one of two things. Either Gintoli has to do like a reaction change and shift Mota for like Conte or something like that. If Conte doesn't leave, if Conte leaves Napoli, like a Conte-esque profile, or if him and Mota fuck up next season, both of them are gone.
Yeah, and a lot of people saying that we're not going to get top four. We need top four. We ran the numbers. If you haven't seen that one, we have the financial report where we brought Sal in, who is our financial expert. And yeah, we pretty much need top four. Keep in mind to pay off Gonzalez, Conceição, and Di Gregorio, we need about $80 million to pay up as well. And that's pretty much, Champions League gives you 100. That's you need the top four.
Yeah, like for example, this isn't like for example you throw it just on Gintoli or Mota, right? I think it's on both of them.
Yeah.
Like, example,
the management level more so than anything, in my opinion.
It is, but it isn't at the same time, Dave. Because like, if we look at it, like for example, if we look at it on paper, the incomings and the departures, like it's not like it was an F, right? Like it wasn't a complete debauchery. Like for example, letting Rugani leave, that was a debauchery. That was because you didn't have enough center backs going into the season. You didn't have enough strikers going into the season. So that's something you can easily throw and say, okay, that's Gintoli being a dumbass with, like, for example, letting Keane go and letting Rugani go. Because the thing that I don't understand is, and this is what kind of, sure, we got 18 million from him, but you're going into the season. Milik injured his meniscus during the Euros, so you're already down a striker, and you're just kind of like, I will sell you. Unless the only way that they could have got Nico Gonzalez is if they did something with Keane. But that's the one thing I didn't understand from a Gentili perspective. Same thing, like, for example, again, where it's like, okay, you're going to start phasing out Danilo, then why would you send Rugani out on loan?
So why Bib's saying let's lower our expectations, enjoy what we have. But we can't enjoy watching us blow a lead every single week. That's the issue. Like, and it goes back to the question. Yes, we have Mata, we have a new team, a young team. You have to give them time. But
Go ahead, Dave.
But there's just fundamental issues at hand that are not being addressed that we've been yelling about that management has completely ignored. Dash, go ahead.
Here's my question. What do we have right now?
We have a great mid-table team.
Like, that's what my question is like, what do we actually have? Because like I mean, I can enjoy it if it's like, okay, we have a top 4 team. It's in a rebuild. We're just kind of going for the top 4. We just got some grassroots players, some veteran players. We're fingers crossed, hopefully trying to make the top 4. If that was what we were going into the season, sure, no problem. I'm not upset. I'd be right there with you. But when you have a $200 million or million euro transfer bill on a bunch of players, and again, you're banking in on a 80 million euro striker, and you're banking in on a bunch of other things, and you're in the position where top 4 isn't a hopeful dream, it's an expectation, and you're falling short of that expectation. That's where, we're kind of antsy. Because again, if we don't hit top 4, and if it's not like for example, if it's not a confident top 4 hit, and if we don't hit it, this team is going to go into the dark ages for at least 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, because we can't afford all those contracts we have to shed. And that's when you want to go with really young players. Like a complete refresh rebuild is when you don't expect to make that Champions League money. You don't have to pay a wage of 80 or transfers of 80 million in the summer, plus whatever holes we need to plug up somehow, right? So we are very much in a situation that if we don't perform to this certain standard right now, we are definitely in for it going forward because we're not getting that revenue of the top 4, which is critical in Serie A because the leagues run like shit and we don't get enough TV money, and we just there's not enough float from other reasons. We don't even have a shirt sponsor. Where are we getting the money?
No, absolutely.
We have a top 6 team. Yeah, well, technically, yeah. Is there a point that we're missing? Otherwise, like from the crowd, the chat, like, are we missing something?
Yeah, and that's a good thing, right? I mean, we have 30 people in here, so like let's go for it here. Like, I mean, this is probably the most active we've had in the post game, but I don't know, like this is one of those things where I'm kind of like like I'm not breathing confidence. Like, for example, like I said earlier, like there's some things that Gentili did right, there's some things that Gentili did wrong. But like, for example, I don't understand. Like, for example, you can't hold Gentili for Douglas Luiz. The way that move was done was fantastic. The issue is Mutta needs to figure out how to get him up to snuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's on Mutta, because I don't care. Like, for example, if you look at it 6 months ago, any team that was able to pick up Douglas Luiz for 60 million or less than that, 28 million plus Illing and Berenachea, like any team would froth at the mouth to pick up that Douglas Luiz option. Right now it's different, where everyone's like, oh, it sucks and blah 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 this and blah 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 that. No. That's on your manager to figure out a way how to implement them.
Yeah,
and again,
that is an interesting case.
My gripe with the fitness and conditioning staff and the nutritionists continue, because how the hell do you lose players in pregame warmups?
I'm very interested to know what happened with Chico. Like, short of Sergio going up to him and
I was gonna say, unless his dad slide tackles him from behind,
or just be like, "I never loved you."
like if Doll's in the chat, can you please like give me something that I'm missing here? Because like I've done pregame warmups. I know a bunch of other people that do it, and I've never seen someone get hurt in warmups. So like
It does happen from time to
it's
time.
rare, but we've been having it as like a consistent thing.
Yeah. And
I think how much? 3 or 4 players?
Dougie for sure did. I think Nico did it.
I think once I
Cambiasco didn't start. He was supposed to start today.
And then Fagioli, I believe that happened to him as well.
It happens. It happens more than you would like to think the statistics would say that the averages.
Yeah, I just, for me, that's another thing, is just like, how the hell does this consistently keep happening? This makes no sense to me.
It's the only thing consistent about our team.
It's the only thing that's consistent is tweaking a hammy while stretching. That's the only thing that's consistent right now.
Yeah, I mean, Dal pretty much lays it out. Your fucking warm-up is supposed to stop injuries in the game. Yes, that's why you warm up. It's supposed to prevent the injuries.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, how does this keep consistently happening? Like, I'm baffled by it.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, regardless of that, I mean, it's not like this team was going to be creative or do anything fancy in general for me, but it's a joy to see Monta dressed. At least he can figure out how to do that. How can he figure out Luis? Come on, it's science fiction for Mr. Inter Monta. That's funny.
Oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna hear a lot of the Inter stuff, I think. Eddie's saying our 2 West signings were third options, Kalulu, Chico, and Cabell. To be fair, they were supposed to be off the bench players in the first place. Chico, I mean, came out of nowhere. Cabell got injured, and Kalulu is, well, playing because everyone's injured. So there's still technically like third options that have become necessities. It's joy for me to see Monta. Oh, he's just said that one, yeah. I mean, with his stupid turtleneck. Okay, it's the training program, and Juventus J Medical has shares in Juventus. Come on, this is a joke. Yeah, that's the tinfoil hat, right? They make it so they get injured so they can keep a job, kind of idea. Summer window is bad now that we look at it. Well, and that's what this collab is that we're trying to set up for tomorrow, is doing the midterm report to really tackle these kind of questions to see where we're standing. And yeah, I'm just trying to get as many people as we can from the community, 3 or 4 of us, just to get a good cross section of opinions. But yeah, in our current frame of mind, coming off this loss, it seems as if our signings, our summer was a bit of a waste.
Oh, absolutely. I hate saying it, but absolutely.
2K also saying Vlahovic isn't it. Yeah, there's a lot now. The tides have turned heavily against Vlahovic. There's still a lot of fanboys out there, absolutely, for all these guys. But it's turned against Vlahovic fairly hard. Mata and Gentoli is getting it as well. And apparently De Gregorio is taking some shade here as well. I don't think he's a bad goalkeeper. He makes a lot of great saves. He made a great one today. Yes, he came off his line. I don't think the penalty, I mean, he got a hand on it.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about the pen. There's nothing you can do about that pen.
Yeah,
that
I don't want to put too much shade there. And
if it was
what, 18 mil?
Yeah, if it was low and he gets a hand to it and isn't able to put it out, that's one thing. But guys, when you're shooting a pen and you're going top half of the net, those are either you're able to get something or it goes through your hand, because those are straight laser beams. Like that's kind of how it works, coming from a person that's done it on both ends, right? Or I've been keeper on pens and I've taken pens. Like if you're hitting anything above the waist and you're going into the roof of the net, those are either it goes through their hands or they're able to get a firm part, because that went through his fingers. Guys, when you're blasting that thing, because these guys can blast that sucker at what, 120, 130 kilometers an hour, your fingers aren't going to be enough. Like it's, unless he's going in with a fist and he's able to force, because the only way you're stopping a pen like that, because you could see how hard Pulisic hit it. Like it's
Oh, he put his
Yeah,
foot through it. But let's bring that back to our goal, to Yildiz' goal. And it was the same thing. Yeah, it was an open play, so different. But you saw how much pace he put into that ball. He shot it short side, which is an easier shot to save. But he put so much pace through that ball that even though Magnan got his hands on it, it didn't matter. It went right through. And you can't really blame Magnan for that. Like yes, I mean, give him a second chance and maybe he jumps that extra couple millimeters and makes the save. But you can't, in the process of play, like blame a goalkeeper for making the right decision, but just having a ball come at you just full blast, right? It happens. Sometimes you just get overpowered, and that was the case for both Mignon and Di Gregorio. So no shade to either one of them.
No, the second one again. That's just more so him being a little bit too high up his line. That's the only thing I could put on that one is him being way too high up his line for no reason.
Yeah, which again I think is part of the instructions of Mata trying to push up from the back. But my God, it's just I'm just turning it around back to the same discussion of our tactics need to be less of a system and more of a let's work with what the hell we have now in this moment and put our ego away and just play simple old-fashioned football and control the damn game. I don't care if it's a boring ass 4-4-2 or what, just control the goddamn games. And clearly having Di Gregorio and everyone else play that high up the line when you don't have positive control of these balls and you continue to give the balls up idiotically game after game. And I mean, Milan gave up so many balls. That's the one thing Coop did well today was turn over the ball a lot. I mean, both directions, but he won a lot of balls back. And then we were in those positions to capitalize on Milan mistakes, and then we didn't. So it goes back to just close out the damn game, convert your chances, and if you are only up by a goal, don't fall the fuck asleep because you're not allowed to at that point. You're allowed to fall the fuck asleep when it's 5-0.
Yeah, I think, like, for example, the one thing I got to give Conceição credit for, the father, not the son, is 3 training sessions, and he told them, hey, we're sitting back, give them pressure, we'll pick and choose our chances on the counter. And then he saw that, after the end of the first half, he's like, okay, let's pivot here, let's try to chase it a little bit, let's try to rattle them. Like you could tell what Milan was trying to do, and they executed it perfectly. And the guy's only been training them for 3 sessions. Where it's like for us, I look at it again, and there's no identity with how they want to play. They have no idea with what they want to do, and it's just kind of like. And this is what pains me is you're absolutely wasting an absolute talent player like Koop Meyers because there is no set way of moving things right now. It is a complete and entitled free for all of play. And like Coop is just filling in gaps and holes where Coop is like the Swiss Army knife of the offense. And he's just kind of like, what else am I supposed to do? I have a 9 that's not able to facilitate play. I have wingers that are constantly running into trouble that won't do proper 1-2s. I have a midfield that's afraid to carry. Like, I mean, it's just like I look at Koop Meyers, and Koop Meyers is just kind of like that Mario Balotelli meme. Like, why always me?
Yeah. But also, why is Coop even playing in the 10? It didn't work. We had Yildiz do it at the beginning of the season. It looked all right. Then it went to Coop, and it looked shaky. Then we went back to Yildiz for a couple games, and it looked good. And then we said, I don't care if it looks good. That's not my system. My system works this way. Coop's going to be my 10. And we've looked like absolute shit ever since we've done that. Like, this is where I throw all this blame on Mata. He's got this ego. And I hate these damn coaches that go around acting like they're some sort of savant or some sort of renaissance man. And this is the ardor we get with Mata. That means shit because your system is shit right now because your players are injured and losing concentration and there's no leadership from you or anybody on the bench. So play your stupid, boring ass 4-4-2 like you're 10 years old learning how to play for the first time on the training pitch. Like, I don't care. Just play a game of football that doesn't make me want to kick a hole in my wall and lose leads constantly because you have these individual players like Yildiz today that make these absolute brilliant goals coming from a brilliant pass from Bangula. and you just piss that shit away. And how do you think Thuram felt last weekend? Game of his life, 2 goals, and then collectively you just shit on that. And that gets in their heads. Like, Mata has to get the ego out of the goddamn way. There's too much of it right now, and I think that's the number one thing. You know, he gets all the success at Bologna, just like Gintoli gets the success at Napoli.
What success
he took a
at
shit
Bologna?
team and got them into the Champions League. That's basically it.
It's a fourth place finish. That's it.
No, that's a success, but for his level. That's a success for his level, right? So Bologna getting in 4th place is a success. But now Juve struggling to get 4th place? Well, I'm sorry, man. You got to adjust. And that's where I'm throwing a lot of the weight on Mata, and Gintoli as well has to stop going off this train of I fixed Napoli and I got a Scudetto with Napoli. I got this, bro. No, you don't have it right now because we don't have any of the pieces that we need to compete because there is zero depth. And you created that lack of depth by catering to this highfalutin system that Mata has. It's like we're a bunch of pretentious ass cunts in an art gallery talking about the red blob on the wall and how beautiful it is. That's where we're at right now. But at the end of the day, it's just a goddamn blob on the wall. And nobody gives a fuck because we're not winning. We're a bunch of art show bastards with their champagne and orange juice.
Hipsters.
But like the rich, pretentious ones that go to art galleries.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the halfway point, right? And there's still a lot more to play. Like, this team could potentially go on a run. They could get a piece or two in January. They could, right? Like, I don't want to hit here and start whining and saying the end is nigh, right? Like, I don't think that's productive. But right now, there's a hell of a lot of work to do, and I think there's a lot of egos, and part of me kind of sits here and wonders, and this is going to piss some people off, but I don't really care. But like,
we're all pissed off at some level. But sorry,
could you imagine if Max had this roster?
I could. I think about this often. I shouldn't have to. I don't want to, but I do. And we did mention it before you came on. But yeah, I mean, if Max had this roster, it's a better roster than what Max was given shit. He was given a swift kick in the ass out the door and basically told, your check's in the mail, get the hell out of here.
Like, could you imagine that though? Like, for example, Max running like a 4-3-3, because I know Max would have with the personnel, like a 4-3-3 of Locatelli,
he probably should have. Yeah,
and Turan.
After all, it may not be Mata's fault. He didn't sign himself for such a big club. Well, he signed the contract. So, yeah, it's like if I accept a job for something that I can't handle, even though my ego might be like, yeah, I can do this, I got it, but then I can't actually complete my job to the standard that's required of me, it is still my fault, yes, because I've agreed. That is the contractual agreement, is you will pay me this money and I will provide, because there is performance agreements in these contracts. Just like in a real job. Dash, you just signed a new contract. Was there a performance clause in there at all?
Yeah, I've got tons of performance clauses and responsibilities.
So if me and Dash in our professional careers are expected to sign a contract with performance clauses in it, you best as hell be sure that Mata's in the same boat, and absolutely it's still his fault. Just like it's Vlahovic's fault for signing that. I mean, the transfer fee is one thing, but yes, he's got to perform.
I'm not at all always advocating for a 3.0. Like that bridge has been torched. There's no way in hell that happens. Like I kind of want to make that clear.
No. But he says, who can manage Juve? Seriously, we're in massive trouble. I think all roads as a temporary solution, because Mata, if he continues down this road, it's temporary, and all roads lead to Conte. But we're going to have to wait another year or two for that.
All I'm going to say to Chris's comment is just remember that Gintoli and Mota have Dusan running around for 22 million a season doing jack shit. So
Just remember that with Allegri, would still have Rabiot running around. Yeah.
Yeah, we have Dusan running around at 22 million gross this season, missing sitters.
Yeah.
So pick your poison on that one.
Yeah, it's true. And Allegri isn't perfect. But the question is, even with those imperfections, what would have Allegri done in this situation? If you gave Allegri a transfer market that Mata was given, which we cried for him to have, what position would we be in now? We don't know the answer, but we can speculate that the games would probably look like absolute hell, but we would still be winning or be winning more. That's my opinion.
Well, and then again, like to the contrary of the Rabiot point, right? Where if someone goes up to you and says, "All right, you only have a budget of 15 million for a midfielder," you're kind of like, "Fuck it, just resign Rabiot." At that point, like that's kind of what it is, right? So like, kind of understanding that perspective about that too is another thing. But like, like I'm just saying, you think he would have turned down a midfield core of Coop Myers, Douglas Luiz, Locatelli, McKennie, and Fajoli? You would have loved that compared to what he had the past 3 years. And then you look at your front line too, where you have Milik, Dusan, Conceição, Nico Gonzalez, Yildiz, and Timmy Weah. Like that front six as well. I think he would have liked that. I'm not gonna lie. I think he would have been able to make something work there.
He would have. Now, Italiano, we've talked about him a lot as well. How would Italiano have done? He would have been a lot more pragmatic, and I believe it would have worked to our benefit, with especially with the weakened back line. The pragmatism would have helped.
What I think, like for example, with Italiano, and I give him credit, is he's consistent. Like for example, he's consistent with Fiorentina as he is consistent the same way with Bologna. Do I think he can get you to the upper heights?
Yet to be seen. He's on his way to proving himself there. And that's why I know you said that if this was like a couple years down the road. So I think ideally it would have been we put Conte in for a year or two and then look at Palladino. At least I feel like that may have been the approach, but again, it's the egos and the mentality of where our management is, and they want to have this brand new look, everything with their collabs with NASA and Prime and everything that does not matter.
Yeah, I think Juve have kind of pivoted away from. I think they've lost kind of what they do. I think right now it's so much into the commercialization and marketing, where they're kind of like, oh, results, right? Yeah, because like part of me is kind of sitting there thinking that they're banking that Serie A is going to be trash and it's just going to be Inter and them, and then maybe Milan is like the top three, so they're guaranteed top four. But when you look at some of these other teams that are punching above their weight, I think Juve didn't forecast this. And again, I don't know how long these teams are going to maintain to punch above their weight, but I can easily tell that this was something that they didn't envision. They thought, hey, whatever, we'll probably be top four for sure because the only team ahead of us is going to probably be Inter for sure, and then maybe
and then we
Napoli
wouldn't have
Milan.
10 injuries, blah blah blah, all these things. Yeah, good. And I said it at the beginning: the best laid plans never survive first contact. Your plans fuck, man. Do something about it. I'm sorry. It wasn't your fault that everyone got. Maybe it was. I don't know, but whoever's fault it was. The situation exists in that you can't win games. You're losing games now. Your players are always injured. They're getting knocks before like all these things are falling apart around you, and you're doing the exact same thing. That's what we call insanity, right? That's another trope. You keep on banging your head against a wall and expecting a different result. That's called insanity. That's what we're doing.
That's what he did at Genoa and at Spezia. Like that's honestly what he was at Genoa and Spezia when he was first starting off. Similar mistakes, similar mindset, similar ideals. It's just that's kind of how it's been. So I don't.
The best managers, leaders, what have you, are the ones that are able to make the tough decisions in the tough times. When everything is going against them, they're able to take a step back, think of things strategically, and make adjustments, even if they're not ideal, because they're not ever going to be ideal, but it's recognizing that and doing the best with what you have. Again, that's where Allegri was good, is that Well, he was a tactical genius in that sense. He knew when to make those changes. He knew when to lock down the games and rally the troops. Again, not always perfect, but when compared to Mata, it's night and day in this situation. And I don't care how beautiful Mata's style of play is and how much more I'm actually enjoying just the general game in terms of the fluidity of it and how it does look nicer. And at least from a neutral perspective, it is a better game to watch. But as a Juventino, I don't fucking care because we're not winning. And it's just that simple. It's
and,
just that fucking simple.
And I'll give some folks like some advice here. So, like for example, professional aspect for me, career-wise, right? I own a small business. I'm an assistant director at my other gig. The number one thing that I've had to do in my professional career is the P word, pivot. Being able to think on the fly, being able to problem solve quickly, being able to adjust at a moment's notice. That is what separates effective leaders with non-effective leaders, because someone that cannot pivot or cannot adjust will go down with the ship. Because again, I don't want to change my process or my way of doing it. It is what it is, blah, blah, blah.
Which is fine. You can go down with the ship, but why is your ship going down?
Why is your ship going down? That means you haven't anticipated all potential pathways that could sink your ship. Where it's like, for example, okay, great, my ship is sinking. What do I need to do? Do I need to cut more weight off? Do I need to refocus something to repatch this? Do I have someone with the skill set that can patch this hole and I can move them there? Can I adjust this? Can I adjust that? It's a totally different mindset, because again, like, we can talk all the smack that we want, but when we're looking at it from that perspective, and again, both Dave and myself have had roles where we oversee people and we have to look for that kind of stuff. We have to adjust for that kind of stuff. And right now, what we're both seeing is we're not seeing that adjustment at all. We're not even seeing an attempt at that adjustment.
Not. And again, changes in 80 plus minutes. The goal came at the 75th minute. You still sat there for 5+ minutes thinking about who your changes were going to be. 82nd. No, sorry. We're trying to find when it came in.
Two main subs were Dusan and Bangula. I think it was like
86th minute. Again. What are you doing in the 86th minute? What's happening in an 86th minute? After you went, that's 11 minutes after you conceded a goal. That is not decision making. That is sitting on your ass and praying to Jesus or Allah or whichever deity is out there in hopes that some magical force is going to come down and make you win a game. That's not how you win games. You win games making a decision, by being a coach, by being that leader, and he is not doing that. And that is where I take extreme offense as a Juventino right now, and I need better.
What do you mean, Dave? That's how he draws 2-2 games against relegation sides.
I need fucking better.
All right.
And I mean the money, and that's the thing. Is it money down the toilet? These are good players, right? Luis, whatever, all of them. Nico, Chico, Coop. They are all good players in their own right. But am I gonna straight out like Coop? I mean, he puts in an effort. I'm not going to say he's just sitting there not doing anything. He has his pros and cons. He's putting in an effort. Like these players individually, when they come on, are putting on an effort. Now, are they the most technically gifted? Are they able to lock things down constantly? No, but they're out there putting in a shift at the very least. I think they're just lost because there's no leadership. I mean, our captain, I love him, Locatelli, but I don't actually see any out-and-out leadership coming from him. He is that like older veteran guy that's been around for a bit and gets involved talking to the refs and, maybe organizing the midfield and a bit of the back, but he's not that staunch leader. We don't have that guy that can be like, you know what, you're it. And Danilo, as much as I love him too, not even it.
He doesn't have the experience. Locatelli doesn't
the
have
last
the experience.
guy was Chiesa. Or
No, I don't
Buffon.
even think Chiesa. I don't even think Chiesa
Not
had the
Chiesa. Oh,
experience.
why would I say
Chiellini.
Chiellini. Sorry, the CH. My bad. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry. But
Yeah,
Chiellini and Buffon.
Yeah, and you look at those guys, those guys with the wealth of experience, been in all kinds of moments, pressure situations. It's those two are like, again, that those are the guys that wear that stuff. Even like, for example, say what you want about Bonucci, but Bonucci as well, Barzagli as well. Like the players like that have.
Even Bonucci was more than what we have. And he was pretty toxic in his style of leadership, but at least there was like a leadership style. You know, there was something. But it's all gone. And I hope we're getting trolled right now with let's go for De Zerbi. Because I'm fairly confident our situation would be even worse.
Even worse. Yeah.
De Zerbi is not the answer right now. We need pragmatism.
Yeah, you need something to steady it out, something pragmatic and simple. Like if you give him that, you don't know where you'll land.
Yeah, and Juve's talking about the plan B. Mott has no plan B, just like Ignali not having one with CR7 and COVID. Yeah, it's short-sightedness. It's not thinking about the future. And you can say, and at the beginning, you know, the honeymoon phase, we look at Mata, we look at all the young players, you know, it's what the fan base has been yelling for, and we get excited. It's like, finally, we're building for the future.
No. This is where, like, for example, I kind of vibe from that opinion, because if you're building from the future, you don't spend over 200 million in a single window.
And I wasn't agreeing with that statement so much, because now that we see that what we have, there's no actual direction with it. Again, because there's no leadership behind that. Rebuilding as we did, I'm not going to say that was the wrong decision to maybe spend the money on these certain players.
Yeah, but if you're spending that much, you need to have an experienced person to manage all of that.
And that's what we don't have. We don't have that back end management. Because, like, and that's the thing that people don't realize day to day, right? It's just like, you hop on a plane and go across the world. How many thousands of people did it take for you to get on that plane to go across the world, right? Same with a football team. How many hundreds of people are behind the scenes working together to make it happen? If you don't have that leadership right from the top to sort things out, it doesn't matter if you're as large as like the United States government or you're running a cafe bistro like Dash over here. None of it works without a dude at the top sorting shit out, making things happen.
Right, let's give Mata a second center back, and then we should judge. Okay, that doesn't really. All right. Okay, give him a second center back. Okay, then what?
I'm judging now. I don't give a fuck. I'm judging. That's the way it is.
No, but seriously, and then what? You give him a second center back, and then what? That's not going to fix what the issue is. Because then if we give him a center back, then the argument's going to be, oh, well, that center back's trash. Oh, that center back is this. Or, oh, that center back is that. No. It's, again, he has to be able to pivot with what's in front of him. Because, like, we gave him a midfield. We gave him a brand new front line. We gave him additional pieces in defense.
It's time for him to make the adjustments.
With all due respect, when Milan won the Scudetto, Kalulu was a center back, not a right back. When Kalulu had his best season at Milan, he was a center back. He was playing next to Tomori.
We have a good enough team to not be doing what we're doing. Milan played like shit today. That's the thing. It's not like Milan came out and completely dominated us and we crumbled. We are playing shit teams, or teams at least that are playing like shit. And we somehow, with all our individual skill, with all the money spent, we still somehow find a way to play worse than the shit that we're presented with. And that's not okay. And Babatunde saying we need Gasparini. We've talked about this as well in the past. He's a hard man to deal with. And Juve, unfortunately, because they're so corporate, they don't like these, let's say, anti-corporate type guys. I think just the relationship between club and coach just wouldn't work out with Gasparini. Same with Conte, but Conte is at such a level that you kind of put up with him for a year or two because you're going to get the results. Gasparini is not at that level. And I just don't see the marriage happening with Juve in particular, or most other teams. Honestly, he's a specific profile for a specific type of team.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, I respect what he's done. He's great for Atalanta. He's done great things with them over the years, and he should be given the respect for doing that. I just don't think
it's difficult because, like, for example, with Alejandro Gomez and Illich, and I think it was Josip Illich. Those were issues where it was manager versus players, and the club chose the manager. It was like the club's gonna forever back him. Like, I don't see him leaving Atalanta. He essentially has free reins at Atalanta. Yeah. It would be stupid. It would be extremely stupid for Gasperini to sit there and be like, "Yeah, I'm leaving Atalanta."
He's got a good thing going. No sense. But I mean, even Coop on the way out, right, had to make up mental injuries to get them to sell him. They're just that's how they're like that. But I mean, still great for what he is. Vincenzo, thing I'm shocked about with Conte at Napoli is how De Laurentiis hasn't said peep, because Conte went in there and this is what he does. He probably went to De Laurentiis and be like, "Listen, this is my team. You want to win? You let it do it my way. Otherwise, I'm the fuck out of here, and I got the track record to prove it." And De Laurentiis was probably he probably respects that, because De Laurentiis is like that, and he's probably like, "You know what, man? You got it. I respect that, but you break my trust and you're out of here." And it's on a knife edge. But as long as Conte is doing his job and continuing to be at the top of the table, I don't think De Laurentiis says shit.
It's fine. Conte. What really happened is Conte cucked him and then pegged him with a strap on.
Yeah, that's it. He basically out-dominated De Laurentiis.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. It was two alpha dogs that you put in the ring, and the other one got the jaws around the neck and was like, "You're mine, bitch. This is how it's going."
Yeah.
That's the situation over there.
That's how that went down.
Yeah. All right, guys. I mean, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. It was a good showing today. Appreciate it. It did not turn out how I wanted, of course. And the sun's shedding. I gotta. Oh my God! See the words. The words are failing me now. I've yelled for too long.
Hit the music. Hit the music.
Oh man, where would Conte be with this team? We would have probably lost today, but would be in first in the league.
Yeah, and we'd be out of Coppa Italia in the Champions
League. We'd be out of all the Coppas, but we'd be in first place in Serie A.
In the league. And we would be bitching about it. That's where we would be.
Exactly. We'd still be bitching. Okay. Well, guys, going forward, we're still trying to organize that midterm report tomorrow. I'll just tell you who I've been talking to. They may or may not all show up, but just a little bit of insights. Al from All Juve Cast, Gio from Juve Corner Cast, and Three Ventinos podcast as well. So Aussies, trying to get the Aussies more involved. The time, we're all in different time zones. It's a bit of a mess. Just stay tuned. We're trying to get something that works out for all of us. There will be no game watch along stream on Monday because we lost. And you know what? As for Sunday, I don't know. Me and the boys will talk. See if we're available Sunday night to do a little call-in show as well for you guys. What if we win the Champions League? Then I mean,
everything is fine and dandy.
Yeah. Then I lock myself in a closet and never speak a word ever again.
Exactly. I retire.
Yeah, we retire. We're done.
We retire because I put all my money on Juve winning the CL.
Oh man. All right. Well, Dash, thanks for popping in, so I didn't have to monologue. He had a little bit of a back and forth. I'm starting to hate the sound of my own voice because I'm just saying the same shit constantly. But
it's all right, buddy.
I appreciate you, man. All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this shit show of a Coppa Italia. Just kidding. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Unfortunately, not the result that we wanted, but we move on. And like, you should move on to that like button. And all the new people that we saw today, hit the old subscriber Rooney for more shenanigans and comedic content. And on that note, we're out.
Good night, everyone. And man, great stream. Thanks for all the participation. Hope to see everyone here in the future.